Hello viewers, welcome to today's segment of Careers. My name is Francis Decker. I'm a human rights activist currently working with Defenders Coalition, which was formerly known as the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders in Kenya, where I work as an advocacy manager. So our work as Defenders Coalition is primarily to offer safety, security, and well-being of human rights defenders in the country. So for the past 11, 12 years, we have been doing this in collaboration with partners from both government, CSO, regional and international frameworks that work towards protection of human rights. So as a Defenders Coalition, as I work as a manager of the Defenders Coalition, my job involves challenging norms, laws, and practices that criminalize the work of human rights defenders. It involves engaging with governments at various levels, be it through independent constitutional commissions, like Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Independent Police Oversight Authority, Witness Protection Agency, and also working with the Director of Public Prosecutions. We also involved with other state actors, like the judiciary, where we engage them on matters to do with human rights defenders. But also, in terms of challenging norms, we have been working with the legislature, that is Parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly, to ensure that the laws that pass through Parliament, they don't criminalize the work of human rights defenders or reduce the civic space in the country. So we do this by doing memorandums to Parliament. This can be both oral or written submissions which we make. And we also involve partners in doing this. So we have been working together with the Office of Inspector General on matters to do with police reforms, and also working with the Office of the Attorney General to ensure that Kenya domesticates international mechanisms that govern human rights across the world. So when it comes to doing my talking about my ideal day, I don't have a definite ideal day or definite actions that I have to take on a daily aspect, other than some activities that I do every morning. So it involves me waking up every morning and doing a media review, where I go through the 3 national newspapers of the day, do some sort of social media monitoring to understand the activities that human rights defenders are doing, and also learn about challenges that may be coming wrong in the course of their work. So other things that I participate in, it's organizing events that human rights defenders will take place in. The most, one of the greatest annual events that I conduct every year is what we call the Human Rights Defender of the Year Award, whereby we're able to recognize, profile, and reward human rights defenders who have done exemplary work in the last 1 year. So it is running on its 5th year this year, and the call for nomination is up. And we are doing this to profile the work of human rights defenders in Kenya, because if we don't raise the profile, the criminalization of the human rights defenders continues. So we have to raise the profile of human rights defenders and civil society organizations. So the purpose of doing such an event, together with Mashujaa Festival, which we started last year, and we'll be doing it on 20th October of this year, it's about telling the story of a human rights defender, or what are their achievements, what are they doing, what have they achieved, what are their engagements with county governments, what have they achieved in matters of helping victims of human rights violations to recover, get remorse, and also access to justice. So that is, can basically describe that as my ideal day. What I love about my job is seeing progressive interactions between human rights defenders and state institutions that are meant to protect human rights. So I'm very happy when I see the Inspector General we have the DCI, and sometimes we have even the office of the DPP participating in events organized by human rights defenders. So we can see this is a great progress for the country in that it was not a thing for the three to do or to attend before. So the engagement, the sitting that we human rights defenders have with these institutions has really defined realization and enjoyment of human rights in the country. So I really love seeing this progress and also the passion that is there with human rights defenders. It is very interesting to see someone defending you, someone who has not, who doesn't know you, defending you for who you are because you have been violated against. So that is really a great inspiration and also a good thing in that you're not working to be paid. You're working to see change in the society. So that is one thing I love about my job. I got my inspiration from two of my lecturers in campus. One lecturer was teaching us gender studies. We were learning about gender, and that's why I came first to hear about the gender role and how it's going to be done. And then another lecturer challenged me that it is not a matter of studying journalism to go and practice journalism in a media house, but you can practice what we call advocacy journalism. So I got my inspiration from these two, and fortunately I got one of them works within the space, and he has been instrumental in shaping how I do my work and also relating and giving me guidance in terms of where I feel I need help. In terms of career success or people I can attribute having contributed to my growth in my career is the staff and board of trustees of the Defenders Foundation. These are people who have mentored me because I entered the organization as an intern, progressed to a project officer, to a program officer, and now being a departmental head. So it has been a great 6 years journey working with the Defenders Foundation, and I appreciate support given, especially by my head of programs, Salome Nduta, and our executive director, Kamonguki, who have ensured that I learn every aspect of it and also getting the best out of me. Especially for my executive director, he has been instrumental in terms of helping me realize opportunities that I can improve that I was not thinking I could be good at. So he has shaped me and helped me come out of my comfort zone and try other things. So nowadays, I have moved from specified in communication and moving now to engagements with government and other human rights instruments. So I can say this has been a great journey with the team. I get my inspiration from the late Professor Ogare Mathai, who, despite all the odds, despite the harsh working environment, she did her little thing. She came out, defended our environment, and up to date, we always remember her and attribute her to the parks that we have, inclusive of, we have now Karula Forest, we have Uhuru Park, we have Sete Park, areas where people can go and rest and think and reflect. So I attribute, she inspires me because of her work, her determination, and her courage, because she was really tortured to the extent of being detained, but she never gave up. Even after detention, she came out and continued with her work. So that's one person who really inspires my work. I'm all up in the clouds when it's pouring rain. Very interesting question. So many people ask what it means for you to be an activist or what it takes for you to be an activist. According to the UN Declaration on Human Rights Defender of 1998, we define an activist as a person, whether it's a person or a group of people who work together to advance human rights. So for you to be a human rights defender, you don't need any educational background for you to be a human rights defender. It's about taking an action against a human rights violation that has occurred in your area. So, for example, we have seen sporadic events where community members organize themselves and protest against a bad road. So those who are qualified to be human rights defenders. So for you to be a human rights defender, it's about taking an action against a human rights violation. But of course, for you to do this, you need to understand your fundamental rights and freedoms, which are enshrined in Chapter 4 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So when you do so, you are able to understand when your rights are violated, but also you also need support from other people. This can be your neighbors or people working with the civil society, can be faith-based leaders. These are people who can assist you to become an activist in whatever shape or in whatever area you are in. So it's all about passion. It's about passion. What do you want? What change do you want to see? Are you annoyed about bad roads? Are you annoyed about corruption? Are you annoyed about female genital mutilation? Are you annoyed about child marriages? Are you annoyed about child pregnancies? These are issues that you have to call out. So it has to begin with you from your own space going to the world. In the human rights work, you are likely to come across various challenges, with the number one challenge being what we can call name tarnishing or name calling, whereby you are branded as an agent of Western powers, you are pushing Western agenda, or you are preaching peace between a husband and a wife, you are coming to cause distractions, separations, and such other things. So that is one of the greatest challenges that human rights defenders go through. And this cascades further other than just being name called, but also receiving threats from perpetrators of human rights. Another challenge that we get is what we call reprisals. Reprisals, this is where you challenge a human rights violation and this comes to haunt you at some time. So the reprisal can be an attack on your family. You can also be trailed or surveilled on your way to work. Another thing that happens to you is physical attack to you, whereby you can also be robbed of your personal valuables. So this is those are the challenges that really affect human rights defenders. So the other thing is the lack of support from community members whom you assist or people whom you help to advance their rights. Sometimes these people are the same people who are going to tarnish you, the people you have been helping out, the people who are going to tarnish you and say that you are a busybody. It's like you don't have any other thing to do. So when it gets there, sometimes it can be so bad that it forces you to relocate from where you stay because of the consistent attacks. So, but it's also not so challenging to overcome this, because as long as you get partners to work with, it becomes easy. Nowadays, it has become easy for me as a human rights defender to report a case of violation against me to a national body like now the Defenders Coalition or the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. And I'm sure when I report this, they'll either accompany me to the police station to go and record a statement, or they'll offer legal representation in case I have been affected or been arrested in course of the work that I'm doing. And also, in case I'm injured in line of my duty, I'm sure I'm going to get medical support from partners. So overcoming this challenge is all about networking and involving others in the work that we do. One of the other ways that you overcome these challenges is involving duty bearers within your locality in your human rights work. It's about you referring cases to your chief, your area police boss, referring cases to other government ministries and institutions present within your area. So you cannot work alone in a silo, in that you need the government to help you in advancing these rights. And also the government is the custodian of both the national and international human rights instruments. They're also responsible in ensuring your safety and security as you advance these rights. To all students, to everyone who would want to become a human rights defender or who would want to be like me, it's all about passion. Are you ready to correct a violation? Are you ready to stand up with the truth? So if you are ready to stand up with the truth, kindly come and join the industry. You can start your own organizing. You don't need an organization for you to start. You can do organizing at your own small space. For example, how do you use your social media channels? Do you use the social media channels for entertainment only without education? So it's about the message that you pass out there about human rights. It's about what you want to see as a just society without any human rights violations. So whatever you want to see, start advocating for it within your small space. It can be in your class, it can be at your church, it can be at your community level, challenging violations from either quarter. It can be from a state or non-state actor. So it's about you calling out a violation and joining the cause. And also consider networking with as many people as possible in the field. Human rights, advancing human rights, it's one of the best and fulfilling things that you can do to your life. Because when you help to change a society, you don't only help the people who are in it then, but you help yourself and you can be sure that your future has been secured. We all want a just world without human rights violations. So as you do this, it's about getting as much partners as possible, encouraging each other, and also having good rapport with your community members as well as duty bearers within your area. I would encourage all of you to join us in this fight for a just world without human rights violations. We are not only fighting for our locality, for the country, or for the region, but we are fighting for a world without human rights violations. So I encourage all of us to join, all of you to join us in this journey, and let us change our society and our thinking about human rights, because it's a right for all and they are all universally accepted. So it's about a universal application of all rights for all, and also for us observing the rights. So I will say goodbye.